back to BlackBox QA again. And in this video, we will be learning about what are list, tuples, set, and dictionary. So, combining them all together, so the concept of collection comes into picture, right? So far we've seen variables storing one value, but in real world programming, we deal with multiple values together like list of users, product catalogs, exam marks, drop down values, etc. So let me ask you a question. If I want to store marks of 5 student, will I create 5 variables? Yes, you can create 5 variables, but that won't be a best practice, right? So hence the concept of collection got introduced in Python. Okay, so Python gives us four powerful collection types, which are lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. Okay, so first we will discuss about what lists are. Okay, we'll clear this out. So lists are the most commonly used collections in Python, and if we talk about their key characteristics, so lists, first of all, they are ordered. Second, they are index based. Third, they are mutable. That means they can change the values. And fourth point is they allows duplicate values. Okay, so these are the key characteristics of lists in Python. Now, if we talk about its syntax, it's the square bracket. Okay, so let's understand the concept of list in more details with some examples. Okay, uh, let me declare a variable called as marks. Okay, now this will be a list variable and we'll define its value inside the square bracket. So let's consider we provide four values to it, which are as 90, comma, 85, comma, 92, comma, 88. So we have declared a variable called as marks, and we have all these values declared as list. So there are a total of four values. Now if we print this marks, so what output we'll get, let's see. Yes, so it has printed its values, which are 90, 85, 92, and 88. And if we try and print its type, and now let's see. So it says it's class list. Okay, so this is a list, and Python prints it exactly the way it is stored. So the sequence is also the same if you look at it: 90, 85, 92, and 88. Okay, now the second point comes is if we want to access any specific list element. So first of all, let me tell you, so while storing these list elements, an index is assigned to all the single respective list elements. So what does this indexing means? It's basically we'll mark it as 0, 1, 2, and 3. So at 0th index, value 90 is stored, first index value 85, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's try accessing the list elements present for marks variable based on their index. Okay, so for that we write marks, we'll provide the variable name, and inside the square bracket we'll provide the index. Let's put 0 for now, and let's see what the output is. So see, at the 0th index we have the element 90 present, so hence it has printed out 90. Okay, let's try and see what is present at index 1. So at index 1 it's 85, hence it has printed out 85. Now to get the last element in the list, we can also have this arrangement where we can define the index as -1. So if we run this file, the last element in the list has been printed out, which is 88. So this is one way. The other way is the usual one. So let's consider the indexing starts with 0. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if we put 3 over here and if we print this, then also we'll get the value as 88. So -1 refers for the last index in the list element and it will print the element present at the last index. Okay. Similarly, if we provide -2, then this will refer to the element present at the second last uh, place of the list. So in this case, if we provide -2, it will print 92, so on and so forth. Okay. So both positive and negative indexing we can provide. So if we provide positive indexing, it starts from left to right, and if we provide negative indexing, it starts from right to left. So this is the difference. Now we have seen that one of the feature of list is it's mutable. Okay. So let's try and modify this existing list. Mutable means whose values or sequencing of the elements can be changed. It can be added, it can be deleted, so on and so forth. So let's check this with an example. Now we'll take this variable name as marks, and at the first index of this marks list, what we are doing is we are assigning a value of 95. And now if I try and print this marks again, okay, so initially the value or the element which this marks list hold was 90, 85, 92, and 88. Now at the first index, we are assigning this element whose value is 95. And now we are trying to print the marks. So let's see. So what happened is initially, at the first index, the value was 85. Now, after assigning or changing the value to 95, now the new list of elements which has been displayed here is 90, 95, 92, and 88. So this means that list can be mutable and we can change the elements or the sequence of it. Now, let's discuss about adding and removing values also. So again, we will take this variable name, list variable name, and we'll put a dot. Okay. With this, it suggests all these functions which can be done. Okay. Which has reverse, remove, insert, extend, clear, append. Okay. All these functions are provided with list. So let's use append. Okay. Now what we are doing inside this small brackets, let's give a value as 99. Okay, so what does this means? Now let's see if we try and print this again, and if we run this, we'll get the output as this. So this is the modified list. So append means we are appending 99 to the existing list. So existing list is 90, 95, 92, and 88. And after appending 99, so total number of elements now has become 5, and 99 has been appended at the very last index of the list, right? So if you are appending any new element to the existing list, it gets appended at the very last. Okay, not in between, not at the beginning, but it will be at the very last. Okay. Now if you want to remove any existing element from the list, so for that we will use this function called as remove. Okay. And let's remove 92 from the existing list. And now, okay, this should be marks and not mark. Now if we try and print this list again, you'll get to see that 92 has now been removed from the existing list, and now again there are four elements with 92 being removed. Okay, so these are the two functions which we have discussed for list. Now let's discuss about insert. Okay, so let's type marks and put a dot, and here let's use this insert function, and this accepts two parameters, so separated by comma. For now let's give 1 as one of the parameter and 100 the other parameter. And now if we try and print marks, okay, before that, so if you see the two parameters which I was talking about, so the first one is the index and the second one is the object. Now we have given 1 in place of index, means at the index 1 we are trying to insert 100. Okay, so that means now this is our existing list which has four elements: 90, 95, 88, and 99. And if we try and insert 100 at the first index, there will be 100 inserted between 90 and 95, and all these rest of the three elements will be shifted further. So if I run this file, see, 100 has been inserted in between 90 and 95. That was, so 95 was at index 1 initially, but now it is at index 2, and 100 has came at index 1. Okay, so we have discussed about three functions. One is the append, then insert and remove. So append adds the new element at the very end. Insert adds it at the position which we provide in the parameters. For example, we have given 1. And remove removes first matching value. Okay, so that's about the three functions which we have discussed about list. Now let's discuss about looping through list. So for example, let's create a for loop for m in marks colon. Now here we are trying and print m. So let's see what happens. Now looping through list, so what it will do, it will print each of the element which is present in the existing list, one after the other. So it will print 90, and a new line it will print 100, and so 95 will be printed, 88 and 99. Okay, so this explains this whole thing which we have discussed about list. So lists are perfect for data processing. And if I talk about some real world examples, so for example, if you are dealing with any kind of shopping cart items, or if you are going or dealing with any kind of report cards which include student marks or web table row values, and from the drop down list. So in all those cases, we will be using list. Okay. Now let's discuss about other type of collection which is called as tuples. Okay. Again, if I talk about its key characteristics, so tuple is ordered. Okay. Wait. Okay. So tuples are ordered and they are index based, and they are immutable. So unlike list, they are immutable. That means they cannot be changed. They cannot be changed. Okay. And fourth characteristic is they are faster than list. Okay. And the fifth one, if I talk about, so they are used for fixed data. So where you are dealing with fixed data, data which do not require any change, so in those cases tuples can be the best fit. Okay. Now we have discussed about its characteristic. Now let's discuss few examples, but before that, syntax of tuple is small brackets. Okay. However, for list it was square brackets, but for tuples the syntax is small brackets. Now let's create a variable called as point, tuple variable, and give the element value as 10 comma 20 comma 30. Okay, so we have created a variable with variable name as point and tuple variable basically, and we have defined three elements whose values are 10, 20, and 30 respectively. If I print this point, and in the next line if I try and print its type, okay, so it will give the output as 10, 20, 30, and class as tuple. Okay. Again here also, if we check for the index, now just like in list, there are also indexing associated with tuples, and if we want to access any particular element at any given index, then for that you need to type print and point at zeroth index. So whatever value is present at the zeroth index, that will get printed. So when I run this file, at zeroth index we have 10, hence 10 got printed. Similarly, for 1 it will print 20, right? And for 2 it should print 30. Same way, if you want to have negative indexing, so let's put -1 over here, and if I run this file, it will print 30, right? Like from like what we have seen in case of list, same goes here with case of tuples. Okay. Now talking about the immutability, so unlike list, tuples are immutable, means they cannot be changed. Now in list, we tried inserting an element at a given index in the existing list. So here we have, in case of tuples, we have these elements 10, 20, and 30. Let's try and insert at index 1 element whose value is 50. So see, uh, if I try and print this print point, and if I run this file, see, I'll get an error saying tuple objects does not support item assignment. Means it's a considered as a type error. Or you can say tuple value cannot be changed. And if data must stay fixed, then we can use tuple. We can go for tuple. And real world usage would be in case of coordinates. If we are dealing with coordinates, so coordinate values remain same, and so there we can use tuples. And second, we can use for any kind of configuration values. Third, we can use in case of constant data, and Also, we can use tuples in case of database records. Okay. So let's say if I ask you a question, if you want data that should never change, so which one will you choose, list or tuple? So obviously, as we have discussed about list and tuples, so for this, our answer should be tuple. Okay, that was all about tuple. And if I talk about sets, so which is third type of collection in Python, so let's talk about its key characteristics. Okay, so first characteristic is it's unordered. Then second one is no indexing. So unlike list and tuples where indexing is involved and we can access the elements using the respective index, here for sets there is no concept of index. Okay, and they are unordered as well. So while list and tuples were ordered. Okay, now third characteristic is no duplicates allowed. In case of list and tuples, duplicates were allowed, okay, but in case of sets, no duplicates are allowed. Fourth characteristic would be used for uniqueness checks, and fifth one would be it has very fast operations, means it's faster than list and tuples. Okay, so these are the basic characteristic of set used in Python, and its syntax is curly brackets. Okay, so let's discuss few examples. Now this time let's create a set variable called as numbers and create this set where the elements are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 20. Okay, now if I try and print number, so if I run this, see, if you look at the output, only 40, 10, 20, 30 has been printed. What about the other 20 which was there in the set? So now, as we've seen or read through the characteristic of sets, that no duplicates are allowed. So while providing the output, duplicates automatically gets removed, and that's the power of sets. So if let's say by mistake if you have added any kind of duplicate values or duplicate records, then those duplicate will automatically get eliminated or removed. Okay. Now let's try add and remove the existing element in the sets. Okay. So again, we will use number, and if I put dot over here, so all these functions are provided for sets. Now let's use add. So for this, let me provide a value as 60, and let me remove one existing value from the set. So we'll use remove, and here inside this, I will be removing value 30. Now if I print this again, so this will be the modified list. So 60 has been added in the existing list and 30 has been removed. So in place of 30, we'll have a new element called as 60. Okay. Now this means that no indexing like list is needed in case of sets, and order is also not guaranteed. So that we have seen in the first run itself. So see here, we had this element which started from 10, 20, 30, 40, and then we had 20. So if we run this, and if this set would have been ordered just like lists and tuples, so then the sequence would be 10, 20, 30, 40. We can remove this 20 as it was duplicate, but still the order should have been the same. But now the order is not guaranteed. Hence, you can see in the output also, first it has printed 40, then 10, 20, 30. Okay. So this is also one such characteristic of using sets. Now, if I talk about using for loop for sets, so let me declare this statement for n in number, and if I print n and if I run this file, so it has printed the existing elements of set which started from 40, 10, 20, and 60, each in a new line, each in a new line. Okay. Now if I talk about the real world usage for sets, so they can be used for unique users. In case of removing any duplicates, we can use sets, and for validating any unique values, we can go for sets. And for fast membership testing, as we have seen, set has a very fast performance when compared to the other two collections in Python, which are list and tuples. Okay. So if you only want unique values, which collection would be the best? So answer is set. We'll go with set. Okay. Now let's talk about another topic which is called as dictionaries. So this is also one such collection in Python. So if we talk about its key characteristics, then first one would be like it stores in key value pair. Second would be like a real world dictionary. Okay, so this works as a real life dictionary. And third is for fast lookups, we go for dictionaries. And fourth one, here no duplicate keys are allowed. However, values can be duplicated. Okay, so these are few of the important characteristics for dictionary. And if we talk about its syntax, so syntax is like this. Inside curly brackets, we are defining key and value. So basically, inside curly brackets, we are defining key and value pair. So this is the syntax for dictionaries. Now let's discuss few examples around dictionaries. Okay. Consider a variable name called a student, and if we provide, if we are declaring this variable for dictionaries, we will be having the elements in form of key value pairs. Okay. So yeah, let's take first key value pair when name is equals to Rahul, means name is a key and Rahul is the value. Let's consider its age as 18, and let's consider another element called as marks as 92. Okay, so this we have just declared a variable in dictionary, and if we print this variable name, and in the next line if we print its type, okay, then let's see what would be the result. If we run this file, so we have this output as in form of key value pairs again. So name as Rahul, age as 18, and marks as 92, and it belongs to class Dict, which is dictionary. Okay, so dictionaries store data in the form of label values, or you can say in form of key value pairs. Now here as well, if we try and access any element from the dictionary, so for that we can use print student, which is the variable name. Okay, and inside square bracket we will provide the value, we will provide the key name basically. Okay, so let's go with key as name, and in the next line let's try and get the value for age. Okay, so here we will be defining key, and if we go ahead and run this file, we'll get the output of the respective value. So see, for name we had value as Rahul, this got printed here, and age as 18, and 18 is printed over here. Okay, so this is how we will be accessing values for dictionary using the keys. Okay, so instead of indexing that we have seen in case of list and tuples, for accessing values in dictionaries we will be using keys. Okay, now let's see if we can update dictionaries or not. For updating dictionaries, let's try this statement, which is student, and again we will be using key. So let's go with key as marks, and in here, instead of 92, which was initially been assigned value for marks, we are giving 90 this time, and then we are trying to print student. Okay, let's see what would be the output if we run this file. Now this time, initially the marks has been assigned value as 92, but after changing it, it has updated the value as 90. So that means we can update the dictionary. So it's, you can say, mutable. Okay, now if we talk about adding new key, okay, to the existing dictionary, so for that what we will be doing, we will be writing this student variable name. Okay, and inside square bracket we will give another key name as city. Okay, and let's assign this value as Pune. So we have created another element in the existing dictionary with key name as city, and we have assigned city a value called as Pune. So if we try and print student again, let's see what happens. So this time, see, along with the existing one, which was name, age, and marks, a new key has been added called as city, whose value is Pune. So this way add we can add new elements to the existing dictionary. Now, if we are able to add it, then we can also remove the values as well from the existing dictionary. Okay, so for that there is a method which is called as pop. So if we type student dot pop, okay, and if we give or you can say any key value, sorry, any key name. So let's go with marks, and if we print this dictionary again, so marks entry would have been disappeared now. See, if we look at the new value, we have keys as name, age, and city. However, marks which was there in the existing dictionary has now been removed. So using pop, you can remove any existing key also. Now, if we use loops in dictionary, so for that let's use for loop. So for key comma value in student dot items, okay, small brackets colon, and if we print key comma, then we'll have this equals to, then we'll put value. So it will so what it will do, it will go through all the key and values, and it will print one by one. So if we run this command, okay, so we have a kind of an indentation error. Okay, unresolved reference key, we'll put this as small. Okay, now it's all good. And if we run this again, so see, it has now printed the first entry for name, the second one for age and city, one by one, one after the other in each new line. So this way we can use l- loops in case of dictionaries as well. Now, if I talk about the real world usage where dictionaries can be used, so those can be used in case of API responses. So if you have worked with APIs, then you might be knowing that once we hit any API and we get any response, so those responses in the form of key value pairs, or in other words, we call it as a JSON format as well. Then in second case, we can use dictionary for JSON data. Okay. Also, we can use dictionary for user profiles, and then we can use it for configurations, and last we can use it to test data storage. Okay. Now, if I ask you, like, where do you see dictionary like data daily? So, as I mentioned, if you have ever worked with APIs, so in that case, for example, let's talk about doing a post request. So the request payload also comes in form of JSON, which is key value pair, and the respective response also we receives in form of JSON, which is again a key value pair. Okay, so I would say that was the entire collection which comes for Python, and if I summarize this list, tuple, set, and dictionary, so it would be like this. So, list, if it is ordered or not, yes, lists are ordered. Lists are mutable, that means it can be changed. If it allows duplicate or not, so yes, list allows duplicate. And use case would be general data. Now, if we talk about tuple, so tuples are also ordered, but they cannot be changed, means they are not mutable, and they can also allow duplicates, and as they are not mutable, their use case would be wherever fixed data are required or processed. Now coming to set, so sets are not ordered, means if you are getting the output for any kind of set, so as we have seen, the ordered is not guaranteed, so they are not ordered. Mutable, yes, they can be changed. And does they allow duplicates? So that also we have seen, if there's any duplicate entry in the output, it gets automatically removed. So sets do not allow duplicates. And in use case, we can work with sets for unique data. Now if we talk about dictionary, so dictionary also, they do not have any order, but from Python version 3.6 and above, we need to have this insertion in order. Okay, but before 3.6 there is no order, okay, for dictionary. Now if we talk about if it's mutable or not, yes, it's mutable. We have just now saw an example. And if it allows duplicate, And here we can see only the key should be unique, while the values can be duplicate in case of dictionary. And for use case, we can have it being used wherever we have this key value form of data. So this was all about the collections in Python. We have discussed about list, tuples, and set. So with this, I want to conclude this video saying like list helps store multiple values, tuples ensure safety, sets ensure uniqueness, and dictionary gives meaning to data. So that was all for collections in Python, and thanks for staying up till here. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thanks a lot.